What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Thrill Life podcast here on Coasters and Things YouTube channel. I'm Nick from Beyond the Thrills, joined with my co-host, Jason, Coasters and Things. What's going on, man?
Not much. What about you?
All is good. Busy, but doing well. And we are also with a very special guest who we have not had on the podcast in a while, Andreas, Thrills and Magic. So how are you doing?
Oh, we're doing well. I'm ready to get into this list. Let's dig in.
Yeah, so in today's episode, we are going to count down our top 10 bucket list roller coasters. This was pretty hard for me to put together, if I'm being completely honest. Jason, you said the same thing before we hopped on here.
Oh, yeah.
So I was able to narrow it down. However, I do have a few honorable mentions, so I'm going to list off my 5 honorable mentions right now. And this is in no particular order. And then, Jason, you can list off yours. Andreas, do you have a few honorable mentions?
Yeah, I only have 2, though.
That's fine.
Okay. So my 5, I'm going to go in this order so I don't trigger you right off the bat, Jason. Okay, 1, Mako.
Okay.
2, Time Traveler. 3, Ichinaika.
Okay.
4, Dododonpa. And the last one, Lightning Rod.
I knew you were going to say that. I'm wearing my shirt for my favorite coaster today.
Did not quite crack the list for me. It's fallen off a little bit as of late. Not Dollywood as a park. I really want to go to Dollywood. But Lightning Rod as a roller coaster has fallen off a little bit for me compared to these newer roller coasters that have opened in the last 3 years.
I'll agree. It's not quite as good as it used to be. It's still amazing, and it will forever hold a special place in my heart.
For sure. Especially since you're working there now, too. You get to ride it more than ever.
Yeah. And,
so that makes sense.
All right. For my 5...
Just wondering, quick side question, because I'm curious. Is the general consensus that it's worse ever since they made the repairs to it a few years ago?
Okay. It's smoother. I'll say, though, the launch, ever since they slowed it down, it's not quite the same as it was in 2016 and 2017. But there's a nasty pothole after the wave turn that really needs something to happen to it. Also, it's having to run 1 train now because apparently the system can't handle 2 trains now.
That's not a good thing for the line. Yeah.
So overall, some improvements, but also some downgrades.
Mm-hmm.
And lower capacity, that's terrible.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you. Yeah, I'm going to tell you all more about this actually after the episode ends.
Yeah,
all right,
good.
Cool. All right, let's hear your honorable mentions. Yeah.
For my 5 honorable mentions, in no particular order, they include Pantheon at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, Expedition G-Force at Holiday Park.
Man, honorable mention. Okay.
Untamed at Walibi Holland.
Okay.
T-Express at Everland.
Okay.
And Coaster Through the Clouds at Nanchang's Sunak Land or Sunak Theme Park. I think that's what it's called.
However you say it. Wow, I forgot about that one.
I forgot about that one too.
It's in China. I had to think all over the world about good coasters.
I might need to redo my list now. How did I forget about that one? Oh, man. All right, what did you come up with, Andreas? You said you have 2?
Yep. So I just have one that I just have no luck catching when it's open, and that's the Alpine Bobsled at Great Escape. I tried 2 separate visits, just hoping. Fingers crossed. Ride. And that's because it has that Great Adventure connection when it used to be the Sarajevo bobsleds.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Where Green Lantern is now.
I think so, yeah. But yeah, so that's one. And then this new one that opened looks amazing at Chessington. They opened up a Jumanji area.
Yeah.
And they have this wing coaster called Mandrill Mayhem. If you haven't seen the ride vehicle, look it up. So a mandrill is like a baboon,
it's cool looking, isn't it?
It looks ridiculously awesome. And yeah.
That whole area looks so cool.
It's the first ever B&M shuttle coaster.
Yeah. Yeah, true. that Chessington, I feel like Chessington flies under the radar a little bit. Not enough people talk about it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
they have Vampire. My friend Christian, he's going there in a few weeks. I think hopefully when he does his study abroad.
Nice. Yeah. Man, Mandrill Mayhem and Alpine Bobsled, two interesting but unique picks. Alpine Bobsled is a good ride. I went to Great Escape a few years back, and the one day I had there, because I did New England the other 2 days on this trip, and it was open somehow the entire day. It didn't even break down. So I got lucky.
Yeah.
I got lucky, though. But it's a good ride. And then, again, Mandrill Mayhem looks awesome. So, you know what, Jason? You start with your number 10. It's your channel.
Okay, I'm going to start off by triggering a lot of people because this would be higher for most people in their top 10 bucket list coasters. But so many new coasters have opened now that this barely made the top 10 bucket list coasters for me. And that is DC Rivals at Warner Bros. Movie World in Australia. This looks to be undoubtedly the best coaster in Australia and possibly the best mock rides coaster. Either that or Ride to Happiness, which, by the way, did not make the list.
Wow.
Okay. And you have a coaster channel?
Yeah, I know. I feel terrible.
So what makes that ride like best in Australia, in your opinion?
It has a wicked first drop. It looks better than Expedition G-Force's first drop. It has a backwards.
Okay, maybe.
It has a backwards facing row. It has a non-inverting loop like. What's it called? Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket has. Yeah. It also looks, for the rider POV on it, looks incredible with the airtime.
Yeah. I'm gonna put this out there right now. It's actually not on my list.
Ooh, that's tough.
DC Rivals looks great. There's gonna be a bunch of coasters that you guys are gonna list off that I'm gonna be like, man, I maybe could have put it on my list, but at the end of the day, we only have 10, so you gotta narrow it down, and I think I did pretty well, so I guess I'll go to my number 10 now. It's Formula Rossa at Ferrari World.
Okay. I thought about putting it on here. I thought about putting it on my list, but it's not.
Yeah, for me, it's just the pure adrenaline factor. Riding King to Ka, as I've gotten older, I'm starting to like the more intense rides now than, like, when I was just at Disney, there wasn't any roller coaster there that was really intense, and I missed it. I was like, there needs to be a ride here that, like, Universal has Velocicoaster and Hulk, which are very intense. So props to them. Like, they get a thumbs up in that way. But Disney, there's no roller coaster that really has that adrenaline factor. So, like, as of late, like the last few years, I like the roller coasters that blow me away and, like, the wind in my face. And I don't know of many coasters that would come close to Formula Rossa. I mean, the fastest coaster in the world.
Yeah.
You gotta wear goggles now.
Yeah. Heck, at Universal, I'd argue Hagrid's is semi-intense.
I'd probably put that third after Velocicoaster and Hulk, yeah. But number 10, Formula Rossa. Not this crazy layout at all. After the launch in the first hill, it kind of just meanders around, but it goes so fast that it really doesn't need to do much. It's for the speed. That's the main reason why they designed that ride, just for the speed.
Yeah, I mean that's what it's there for. That's the main event, right? Is that launch?
Yeah,
for real.
All right, my turn.
Yeah, it's your turn.
Okay, so my number 10 is out in Lagoon, and it's because I'm trying to ride the 10 oldest coasters in the country.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait,
so I
it's
only
not
have 2
what
left.
you thought it was, Nick.
It's not Cannibal?
No, it is just the one called Roller Coaster.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So bucket list, just because the location is a little tough to get to, I think. You have to, like, fly into Salt Lake and drive out. But yeah, so one of my personal goals is to ride the 10 oldest roller coasters, and since most of them are in the Northeast, I went ahead and did that already.
Yeah, Nick, my initial thought was the same as yours, and then when Andreas, when you said 10 oldest,
way to let me down. I love Cannibal.
I was like, oh, it's roller. Sorry to disappoint.
Sorry to disappoint.
All right, Nick, it's your turn.
All right, my number 9 is
Oh man, that's an interesting pick though. That's cool. So it's the oldest roller coaster left.
I think it was 1927. It's not just the oldest in my personal list. I can look up the year for you real quick.
It was mid-20s.
It is it opened in 1921.
Wow.
Dang. Okay, because I know Jackrabbit at Kennywood and Jackrabbit at Seabreeze were both 1920.
I mean, yes, Cannibal is beautiful and amazing, but if I'm there for one, I'm probably gonna ride the other.
I'm guessing Cannibal is high on your list, Nick. Like high.
You'll see.
Okay. So is it my turn for number 9?
Number 9, yeah.
My number 9, I have Terran at Phantasialand. This ride looks unbelievable. Like it looks, maybe with the exception of Velocicoaster, it looks like the most heavily themed coaster on Earth. It probably even is more heavily themed than Velocicoaster, honestly. And I'm a sucker for launch coasters. Terran has 3 or 4 launches that are just you skirt down the track.
Yeah, for real. Everything around it looks so cool as well.
It doesn't go upside down, but it has the Pantheon style lap bars, which supposedly are amazing.
Yeah, I think the only one of the 3 of us here that's done Pantheon is you, Andres. Are the lap bars as good as they say it is?
Yes, but with the caveat that they're very unforgiving for anybody large. I saw a lot of people not able to verify that looked, just a little taller or a little bigger, a little meatier, let's say.
Is it just the way they sit?
Yeah, the seat is it's a little narrower, and so it kind of makes you sit a little more forward than usual. And then
I haven't read that anywhere.
Yeah, it was I went not too long after it opened, and maybe they have adjusted something about it, but there were multiple times when I was getting on that the train ahead of me had 3 people take the walk of shame instead of, once in a while I'll see that.
The walk of shame.
It seemed way more common for some reason.
Wow, that's wild. Everyone still calls it the walk of shame. It's crazy. I mean, that's what it is. You wait in line for it, then you can't ride. Well, sorry.
Too bad. Yeah, too bad.
All right, so my number 9 then. My number 9 is going to be Batman Escape at Parque Warner.
Okay.
This ride, freshly new, just open to the public. Wow. It's like Velocicoaster. I may argue that it looks a notch above Velocicoaster. I have another new Intamin on this list that I think looks a little better than Velocicoaster as well. But Batman the Escape at Parque Warner. Parque Warner was in need of a new roller coaster, I feel. And, I mean, there's so many different coaster models out there, but I feel like this was just a perfect choice. And can't go wrong with these Intamin multi-launch coasters.
Yeah, spoiler alert, I have it higher.
Wow, okay. Actually, I'm not too surprised about that. Yeah, no, that makes sense knowing you. But, yeah, number 9, Batman at Parque Warner.
All right. Where's that at again?
Madrid.
Parque Warner?
Yeah, Madrid, Spain, yeah. And it's Batman Gotham City Escape.
I just call it Batman Escape, but okay.
How dare you? All right, it's my turn?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. This one is mainly for the nostalgia, and it's Oblivion.
Wow. Okay.
Alton Towers.
Yeah.
Because it's always been something I wanted to ride ever since I saw it in one of the parks or the maps in Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's always been in the back of my mind ever since, late 90s.
That's cool, honestly. I always forget about Oblivion.
I mean, it looks amazing. I don't know if you've seen it on Reels or TikTok or whatever, to see it, drop in slow motion into that hole with all the fog coming out of it.
Yeah.
It just looks cool.
It definitely looks like one of the better dive coasters.
Even though the hold break is only for 1 second.
Yeah, they don't hold you there as long as some of these other ones. You're right. Yeah. No, that's
they're
cool.
a little more dramatic nowadays.
Yeah, for sure. Fingers crossed that Dorney gets a dive coaster, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that all but confirmed?
I would think so at this point. We're still not 100% sure if it's a dive coaster, but we know they are getting something because they have already started digging holes and there's markings for footers. And yeah, something's happening over there. We just don't know what, but I would think it's probably a dive coaster.
I really have not kept up with that project at all.
Yeah, no, they've dug a lot of holes. A lot of people that went to the ACE event, I want to say last weekend, took a lot of photos up close.
Clowning
Yeah,
around
I
at
saw
Dorney.
it 2 weeks ago when they opened. They have the footers there, and if you like superimpose things like and get really detective about it, yeah, it really like 90% it's a dive coaster.
Oh gosh,
it makes sense. Yeah,
I really hope they don't sacrifice Possessed for it though.
No, it doesn't look. It looks like Possessed is staying.
Possessed is staying.
It's
They're
a
just
fantastic
utilizing
ride.
that space where Stinger was.
Yeah, because they gave Possessed a lot of Wicked Twister's parts.
Yeah, Wicked Twister died, so
Possessed lives on. All right, where are we at? Number 8, Jason.
Okay, my number 8. Actually, I have back-to-back coasters in Germany.
Okay.
My number 8 is Der Schwur des Karnen at Hansa Park in Germany.
Forgot about that one too.
This looks like the craziest Gerstlauer in the world, if I'm completely honest. Probably the best Gerstlauer coaster, period. I mean, it has the reverse drop on the lift hill, supposedly. It goes 80 miles an hour, which is very fast for Gerstlauer.
Yeah.
It has that really weird, wacky first element after the drop. I don't even know what it's called. You kind of like rise up and then dip down a little bit and then rise way back down.
I know what you're talking about. It's not ringing a bell what it's called. Yeah.
But yeah.
I know what you're talking about, though.
Is it rough? I've heard from some people it is rough, but it looks fantastic. And it hauls the mail from the POVs that I've seen of it.
Yeah. It looks very, very cool. All right. So my number 8 is Tutatis at Park Asterix. So like I said, I put this one up from Batman Gotham Escape. And I think both of these look better than Velocicoaster, which is a good thing because these are both brand new. So it means Intamin is only going to get better and better with these new Intamin multi-launch coasters. They're always going to have more and pack more in their layouts.
I'm scared for the future ones because the ones now are like perfect. I'm scared for how much better they can get in the future, honestly.
It's Intamin, the GOAT. I think Intamin's the GOAT. I'd actually probably put B&M number 2 because of how unique they are, and then RMC number 3, which I know a lot of people would disagree with me on that. But
yeah.
Yeah, both Tutatis and Batman look just slightly better than Velocicoaster to me. I think Velocicoaster's first half is very cool, but the second half is what makes the ride. That's just my opinion. So let's hear your number 8 then, Andres.
All right, so mine is over in Japan, and it's Steel Dragon 2000.
I was thinking about putting that on
Nagashima Spa Land. It's one of those Morgans. I'm pretty sure it's a Giga.
Yeah, it is.
And just the lift hill alone is such a visual sight. Like just 300 feet or 302 feet. Like just insane. It's like
it's massive.
To me, it's like an icon of the coaster wars. We're making it as straightforward as possible. You want a big drop, so here is a massive lift hill. Like the visual is amazing to me.
How tall is it? Like 315 feet, I think.
Something like that, yeah. But
something like that.
The only Morgan Giga and the only Morgan outside of the United States.
And the only Morgan that runs B&M trains.
That's right.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. The trains don't look bad.
No.
The original trains looked so ugly.
I mean, they were Morgan trains.
Yeah.
They're boxy little things. Like that's just how they look. And now they're running those B&Ms, which it feels wrong looking at like the track the way it is. The height is 318 feet.
Okay.
That's a good size. Yeah, it's
a big boy.
Long, fast, Again, one of those rides that I feel flies under the radar a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like not many people know. It almost goes like 100 miles an hour. Like, it's
For real.
serious.
If you ask me, Steel Dragon 2000, it's just big, tall, fast, and it's there. It doesn't do a whole lot.
Oh,
Nope,
I'm regretting not putting it on here. It doesn't need to do more than that if it's going nearly 100 miles an hour.
I don't think it can do much more, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I'm actually regretting not putting that on here, or at least an honorable mention. How did I forget about that one?
How dare you?
How dare me is right. All right, Jason, number 7.
All right, number 7. Is this the only Woody on my list? Yeah, this is the only wooden coaster that made this list, and that is Wildfire at Kolmarden Zoo in Sweden.
Okay. That's RMC though, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, this looks like I'm not sure. I would have said the best coaster in Europe, but not anymore now that a few more have been built. It probably was the best coaster in Europe when it was built.
Definitely. When it was built. I wouldn't say anymore, but I agree.
It hauls the mail though, like completely. Also, I've heard there's like never a wait for you, so you can just marathon it over and over again. And if you ask me, this is undoubtedly the best roller coaster at a zoo.
Sure. What about the What about the wooden coaster at Columbus Zoo in Ohio?
That's a Woodstock Express clone.
I mean, I don't know. There might be some people out there that might prefer it to an RMC. You never know. All right. I guess that means my number 7. It is Cannibal at Lagoon.
I thought you have had that in your top 5. Okay. I thought that was in your top 5 actually.
Nah. Well, it was close, but I couldn't. Do I wish it was in my top 5? Absolutely. But sadly, I just can't put it in my top 5. There's 2 coasters that look better, which kills me inside to say because Cannibal, people know this if they've been watching the podcast since day one. There's more than half of the episodes. I probably can't get through the episodes without talking about Cannibal.
Yeah.
It's just so cool, dude, that they built it in-house. The elevator lift, all the elements that it throws at you. It looks like a Gerstlauer and an Intamin combined.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
I also think that first drop looks like one of the best first drops on any roller coaster, period. I mean, just think about the view that you get at the top.
Looks like it craps all over the Eurofighters.
I'd even argue some of the Infinity coasters.
Yeah.
Like, I would take that over Shellraiser any day of the week, probably.
Shellraiser's a rough.
Thank you.
Oof.
I haven't ridden it yet, so I don't know.
Yeah, Jason always is like, it can't be. He tries to tell me over here, it can't be that bad. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, there's just no give to the floor because all the footers are into the concrete, and like the sway is transferred really poorly. You know, all that energy is not being displaced properly. It just creates this craziness.
Sandy's, on the other hand, I like.
When it's opened, it is wonderful, and I wish to see more installs of that type of coaster whenever it's non-prototype, because the uptime on that one is horrible.
I'm not gonna say it's the smoothest like Intamin coaster I've been on. It has a little bit of a vibration to it, but
it rattles. It rattles.
Yeah,
it's okay.
It's tolerable though compared to Shellraiser.
It's a rattle of joy and happiness.
And Shellraiser is the whole other. It's a complete opposite of that.
Pain.
Pain is right.
Pain means fun.
No, not in this case.
You're not having fun if you don't feel like he's just survived.
Yeah,
right?
Facts. All right. So
what are we on?
Number 7. Yeah, that was Cannibal for me.
Yeah.
So you're 7.
All right. So 7 has already been mentioned. It's Formula Rossa, Ferrari World Abu Dhabi.
Y'all are making me feel bad now that I didn't put that on my list.
Don't feel bad. Just like I mentioned, I was trying to get on the oldest roller coasters. I want to get on the fastest ones too, just to like,
the adrenaline rush, man.
Do you get much adrenaline anymore? I feel like I don't.
Really? Oh, I can't not ride. I can't not ride King to Ka, and I've been on it too many times and not get an adrenaline rush.
Yeah, I feel like I stopped getting one after a while, or not as like much of a spike. It's like I got to simmer like a low level of adrenaline just constantly going.
Like, you're so lucky you have King to Ka and El Toro at your home park, Nick. I would kill to have those two at Dollywood.
Where are you closer to Dorney or Great Adventure, Andres?
I'm the same distance, actually. An hour.
Oh, so you're like dead center. Yeah, I'm like 35 minutes from Great Adventure and like an hour 30 from Dorney. I'd actually say my second home park. I mean, I guess you could say Clementon Park, but I'm not going to say that.
Don't.
Probably Sesame Place.
Hey, Wacky Taxi, man.
Yeah, I haven't been there in a minute. I may actually go this year with my little cousins and see what's new there and do Wacky Taxi and Vapor Trail again, because I went in 2018, which was the year Wacky Taxi opened, and it's a fun ride.
It's really good. It is really good.
Yeah, and being a big fan of the Muppets, like it would be wrong of me to not pay my respects and go and get a selfie with Cookie Monster.
Believe it or not, my number 6 is actually the only American coaster that made my top 10 bucket list coaster. One American coaster made my top 10 bucket list coasters, and that is
X2, yeah.
X2 at Six Flags Magic Mountain, yeah. Which this ride, yeah, it is my top bucket list American coaster now that I've ridden Velocicoaster and Air Force One. But X2 just looks godly. Like the drop looks crazy, how it flips you down facing the ground and then flips you upside down and all that. The fire, which I heard from Chris, doesn't really work a whole lot anymore. But still, the what's it called? The Raven turn, the inside Raven turn at the end.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, that looks mental.
Not on my list. If this was just purely United States, then it would probably crack it. But since we're doing like anywhere in the world, not quite. So my number 6 is Iron Gwazi at Busch Gardens, Tampa.
That's a fantastic ride. So fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah, this ride's grown on me a lot. When it first opened, not that I didn't understand the hype for it, but maybe since I just rode Air Force One recently, it reminded me just how great RMC iBox coasters are. And everyone says, most people are saying Air Force One is the second best now, and Iron Gwazi is the best of the best. So,
I mean,
I like Air Force One that much. Guess I got to go ride Iron Gwazi.
I mean, Iron Gwazi, it's my number 2 roller coaster for a reason.
Have both of you done it?
I haven't done it yet.
You haven't.
I've seen everybody's ranking that one high.
Yeah. What's your favorite RMC? Is it still Vengeance, Andres?
Yeah. It's up there with Twisted Timbers.
Twisted Timbers is really good too.
Yeah,
both of those rides are awesome. Yeah, both of those rides are really awesome.
I feel like they're really tough to compare just because of the layouts. Like Steel Vengeance is like this massive behemoth, and Twisted Timbers is just kind of this like, let's have some fun, like a lot lighter of an experience.
But it packs a punch.
It does. It's a little unsuspecting, but yeah, I have trouble comparing those two.
I'd argue the airtime is just as strong on Twisted Timbers as it is on Steel Vengeance, just in a different magnitude.
Yeah, you'd get different types of
yeah.
I would say Steel Vengeance has airtime, but it's a lot more there's also a lot more ejector versus sustained airtime. I think you get more so on Twisted Timbers.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. So what's your number 6?
All right, my number 6 has already been mentioned, and that is Wildfire.
Yeah.
Best zoo roller coaster in the world.
Well, yeah. I mean, there isn't a whole lot to compare it to.
Okay. Oh, wait. No, sorry. Jason, you're number 5. My bad.
All right. My number 5, I got to Tatis at Parc Astérix in France.
Yeah.
These Intamin multi-launch coasters just look fantastic. Like, this looks like it could be the Pantheon of Europe, if I'm completely honest. It shares a lot of similarities with Pantheon. It has a stall very similar to Pantheon. It has the swing launch, I think it's called, which is where you go up and then go back and go up the spike and then go all the way up the top hat, you know. It's crazy. To Tatis, you could, I think, probably the best coaster in France, I'd say now.
I think it looks like the best of the best when we're talking about these new Intamin multi-launch coasters.
Mhm.
Like I said before, it looks different.
Sounds like you guys definitely have a taste for those.
What, the Intamin multi-launch? Oh, for sure.
That ride
all you got to do is ride Velocicoaster, and then you're hooked.
That ride alone is worth going to France for. Two Tatises, I mean.
Yeah, those are strong words.
Also,
you don't think?
What's that?
You don't think they look as good as we do?
Oh, no. I just see how much you've fallen in love with it and just observing that. That's
I got you. Okay.
Also, listen, I drove 6 hours to go ride Pantheon. Like, come on.
The theming on Two Tatis also looks really cool.
It does, yeah. All right. My number 5 is another RMC. It's Zadra at Energylandia. I'd probably say, so like I said before, in the U.S., everyone's saying Iron Gwazi is the best RMC, and then like Air Force One and maybe like Iron Rattler are the next two. I feel like people have starting to give Iron Rattler more love again recently. Like,
as they should. That ride's fantastic.
Yeah, like Steel Vengeance has fallen off a little bit. Same with like Twisted Colossus. That could be because it like never duels. I don't know. But
that definitely doesn't working for it.
That's
Steel
probably
Vengeance, I feel like enthusiasts just in general, like it's very polarizing, and that's probably why nobody can agree on it.
I mean, I love Steel Vengeance, but I like Maverick more. So like I'm another one of those people that don't fully understand why people say it's the best roller coaster in the world, but at the same time I can understand it. I'm kind of torn. But Zadra looks to have the most unique elements on any RMC. It throws so much at you. Energylandia as a whole looks like it's only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger because they're always adding something different. Wouldn't be surprised if they're the first park to have 2 RMC iBox coasters.
Which park? One? That one's built from the
Energylandia.
Oh yeah.
They didn't like make a hybrid out of an old wooden with this one, right? It was designed to be hybrid from the ground up.
Ground up.
Do whatever they want.
What was crazy was during the construction of it, the structure actually fell over from a storm, yet they were able to rebuild it quick and get it open before it was supposed to actually open.
Yeah, that's wild that they were able to pull that off. I remember that. That was a while ago.
That was a long time ago. That was in 2019.
Was it? Yeah. I was gonna say. My number 5 is Zadra. Shout out to Hyperion, not on this list, but that looks great as well.
It didn't make my list either. I almost did, though. It was really close.
Yeah, I'd say that's the closest thing to Skyrush probably out there.
Oh, probably. Really?
But with better lap bars.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's not hard to beat the lap bars of Skyrush. But I feel like Energylandia in general as a park is like, it's got to be up there on people's visits if you're going to Europe. It's got to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
I probably wouldn't think twice about going to Poland if it weren't for that park.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, how could you not pass that up? Yeah.
So I'm throwing it to something that's opening, or did it just open? Hasn't opened yet. The Zambezi Zinger. The thing that got me to put it on here is a POV that they released like a week ago. Like it's only going 45 miles an hour, but this combo of like the Titan track and the regular track, it is super cool the way that sounds, how it's moving. It looks like it's hauling now. And the low ground turns that go against the terrain and you feel like you're just going down and down and down. It's crazy. it looks like a lot of fun and something I want to try to get out to.
Jason, what did I say to you? I remember saying, I think I said this to you. It looks like if Maverick was a wooden roller coaster with all the snap turns.
Yeah.
Low to the ground, quick, snappy transitions.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you took a cross between Whizzer at Six Flags Great America and Maverick at Cedar Point, you get Zambezi Zinger.
I'd agree with that. All right, Jason, you're number 4.
All right, my number 4. I had a debate between number 4 and number 5, but I gave this the number 4 spot, and that is Batman Gotham City Escape at Parque Warner Madrid in Madrid, Spain. I really had to debate between this and Tutatis, but I gave it to Batman Gotham City Escape because, in my opinion, I think the layout's a little better. Also, it starts out with a bang, fast launch right out of the station, whereas Tutatis just kind of rolls out of the station into the launch. Batman Gotham City Escape, you blast out of the fog right out of the station into an inversion.
Very cool. All right, so my number 4 is The Voyage at Holiday World.
Okay, I respect that.
Okay. Now, there's no way that a roller coaster of that size can only be good, or as good as everyone says it is, one night of the year. There's no way.
You mean 2 nights of the year? And
whatever. Hollywood Nights. There's no way that it can only run good during those 2 nights of a 365-day year. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me why people say that. I feel like if I were to go to Holiday World on a weekday in August and rode it, I would still think it's a great ride.
I mean, yeah, don't listen to the people that say it's only good during Hollywood Nights, because I've ridden it when it was not Hollywood Nights. It is still great.
It's a good coaster.
I just don't understand why people say that. Like,
they're elitist.
The only difference is the second half is faster. That's the main difference during Hollywood Nights. When the trims are off, the second half is faster.
Question though, do you get night rides on regular operating days? Do they like stay open late enough to get that?
Yes, but they're not trimless.
I mean, I know the trimless during Hollywood Nights, but the night ride just in general, when you go out into the woods, like, is fantastic. It's just completely pitch black and it's terrifying, and I absolutely loved it. Yeah.
So you didn't go during Hollywood Nights then, or you did?
Oh, I did. Except I went in 2021, and that was a weird event. Like, it was closed for one night. Thunderbird was down, and then I got on it twice when it was, optimal. But
optimal
during the day, it was still a lot of fun, and it had like almost no wait during the day, which was great.
It's still great. It feels like 2 roller coasters in one, honestly.
Yeah, Voyage looks great to me. There's no way that it's only good during Hollywood Nights. With it having the trim off, yeah, I'm sure it hits harder during that second half, but that doesn't mean the first half is any different.
No, it's a solid coaster any which way you want. It's just, a slightly different experience. But
all right, number 3.
I'm
sorry,
number
Andres,
4.
you need to do your number 4. My bad.
I need to do my number 4. How dare you? Okay, so we mentioned the park Fantasia Land. The one that sticks out to me, and it's because it caught my eye through like photos and video, is Fly. It's the Flying Dutchman. Holy smokes, it looks so good. The course and the theming and the scenery looks awesome. I've been on the one that's down at Six Flags America, the
Batwing.
I couldn't imagine doing that as a launch. Like, do you actually launch? Like,
yeah,
that's sick. And
looks like the best flying coaster in the world, if I'm completely honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know many that come close to that. That's a good pick. I didn't put that on here, but another one of those rides that maybe looking back I would have put on here. So all right, number 3, Jason.
Made it to the top 3.
Okay, my number 3, and actually, I kind of
40
cheated.
some minutes later, we made it.
and I kind of cheated a little bit because my number 3 is actually 2 roller coasters that are very, very similar to each other. So I clumped them both into one spot, and that is Edgenica and Dinoconda. I clumped them both into one spot.
Okay.
So I'll describe them both the same way. They both look insane. I had my X2 as my number 6. I have these two both as my number 3. They look taller, faster, smoother, and the flips look better. And I've heard the restraints are more comfortable on them than they are on X2.
Which manufacturer is that?
S&S, isn't
it?
S&S. Yeah, S&S, okay. Yeah. Which those look ridiculous. Those should not exist.
They don't have the vest restraints like Gale Force and the 40 free spins, do they?
Right, they have just over-the-shoulder restraints, yeah.
Good. I'm not a fan of those weird vest restraints on those 40 free spins. They're just weird. Not that they're like uncomfortable, they're just weird.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know how else to describe them. They work more on Gale Force than they do on the free spins, I feel like.
Absolutely. I think it's just to do where the forces are being placed. Like if you're in that free spin, you don't feel like you're truly secure. You're like shuffling inside it. Whereas with Gale Force, you feel like because of the forces, like in an inversion, are kind of going one direction.
Yeah, and Gale Force doesn't fully go upside down. I mean, I know it has the kick flip, but that's not even really an inversion. I'd say that's more of a unique element than an inversion.
The kick flip.
Is that what they call it?
Yeah, I mean, it's cool, but I wouldn't say it's an inversion.
Okay. I think the main difference is just where the forces are coming from, because you're still, on one of those free spins, you're going a direction, but then also rotating.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, my number 3 is Ride to Happiness at Plopsaland.
Yeah.
I had Time Traveler as an honorable mention, but this looks to do just about everything that Time Traveler does better.
A whole bunch of people are calling it the world's best coaster.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but it looks up there.
It's up there, but yeah, somebody's been hitting the Kool-Aid hard with that.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, Ride to Happiness, number 3.
All right. My number 3 is out in Korea, and it is T-Express.
Oh,
nice.
Everland.
Yeah, at first I was about to say what? Now I remembered T-Express, yeah.
Nice.
Yep. It gives me some like really strong El Toro vibes, but it's like longer and faster and is built into the terrain.
Yeah, I was gonna say, built into the terrain.
I was watching some POVs. I'm like, oh my gosh, this thing is still going, and it just hasn't slowed down because of the terrain. It just looks so intense, so much fun. I would absolutely love to be able to go there one day.
I think it looks better than Colossus and Balder. I'd probably put T-Express and El Toro more in that same category, and then Colossus and Balder like a notch below the other two.
Colossus still looks fantastic, though.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But Balder definitely a notch below that.
So my number 2, okay. My number 2 and 1 are both RMCs. Okay. my number 2, I got Hakuge at Nagashima Spa Land in Japan. This looks like it probably is the best coaster in Asia, if I'm completely honest. Probably, with the exception of Air Force One, the best color scheme on RMC.
Yeah, it really does look good. That's a good pick. All right. My number 2 is... I'm sorry. Yeah, it's my number 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay. My number 2 is Fury 325 at Carowinds. Am I the only person in here that hasn't ridden it?
I didn't put it on my bucket list. I certainly would have, but I already have plans to go for their 50th.
Oh, nice.
So I will have ridden that before the summer's out.
I've ridden it 16 times over my 4 visits to Carowinds.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it's up there in everybody's rankings. Like, it's consistently in the top 10. So, like, I knew I had to make time for it eventually.
Yeah, it's in my top 10 still.
I was so set in stone in the past where There's no way it could be better than Intimidator 305, but I don't know. I really don't know. It looks pretty insane.
I don't quite like it as much as I-305. They're both in my top 10, though.
Yeah, people say like when it hits nearly 100 at night, it's like different. It's like one of those. You don't get a ride experience on many other roller coasters like you do in like a front row night ride on Fury. Is what everyone says.
The best rides I ever have gotten on it were front row at night. Because when I did
total sense.
When I did ERT on Carolina Coaster Classic on it in 2021, we got 7 night rides on it. We did it once in the back row and then 6 times in the front row.
That's so cool.
So the front row is where it's at for this one at night?
Heck yeah, it is. Front row on Fury is the absolute best.
Yeah, where like on other B&Ms, like
the hypers are way better in the back.
Yeah, like Goliath at Over Georgia and Candemonium, I definitely like better in the back. So
is that because you want that max out your airtime, basically?
Yeah.
So then with 325, is it just maxing out the speed and like that's
and Fury does have airtime. It has good airtime too.
Nice. Yeah, I mean I would hope so. B&M with clamshells that doesn't have airtime. What's the point of having the clamshells then?
Also, the Fury 325 Fury 325 is really freaking fast operations, like 45 seconds or less each time.
Jeez.
That's good. That's good to hear. All right, yeah, you're number 2, Andres, and then number 1.
All right, my number 2 has been mentioned. It is Ride to Happiness. I need to get me on one of those max spinning coasters with that launch. And was it me or I was watching some videos and it has music playing throughout or something like that?
Yeah, it has onboard audio.
Yeah, that's pretty cool too. And then there's this one element, I think they call it the banana roll, that looks obscenely cool.
Am I the only one out of all of us that's ridden a Mox Extreme Spinner?
I haven't done Time Traveler.
Yeah, I've done Time Traveler.
What other Mach Extremes are in the United States?
Yeah,
I think that's the only one.
Yeah, they're the only 2 Mach Extreme Spinners in existence currently, and I've done Time Traveler.
I thought there was one other. I thought there was one other one for some reason. But hey, just those 2. Yeah, I mean, of the 2? Which one am I going to ride first? Most likely Time Traveler, but that's not to say that I'll never get to ride to Happiness down the line. Who's to say I'll never make a trip out there? So
I mean, Silver Dollar City is kind of awkward to get to, I want to say, if you're flying. So
it is
especially
hard
from where we're coming from, Andres.
It is hard to get to. Like I flew into Kansas. Yeah, I flew into Kansas City to go there. It's just a 3.5 hour drive of total nothing, just to get to Silver Dollar City.
How close is Worlds of Fun and Six Flags St. Louis to Silver Dollar City again?
3.5 hours. Worlds of Fun is 3.5 hours north. Six Flags St. Louis is 3.5 hours east.
Okay.
So the 3 parks are kind of in a triangle shape. And
you could make a nice little like road trip out of that if you like fly into one of the 2.
Yeah.
Like Kansas City or St. Louis, and then just make a trip out of it. Do all
3. That makes sense.
That's basically what I'm doing with Carowinds, Over Georgia, and Fun Spot, and then go up to Dollywood because they're all like 3.5 to 4 hours from each other.
Hit me up when you go to Dollywood.
Definitely do.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Ride to Happiness. I understand in some ways why people say it looks like the best roller coaster in the world, but in other ways, I feel like that's a little bit of a stretch.
It's totally a stretch. I put it on my list
for what it does.
For its uniqueness. Obviously, one of 2 installs in the world. It looks really fun. It looks really fun. It's got a lot of cool elements, and also I've heard good things about the park itself, Plopsaland. So, all put together, yes.
Ride to Happiness. All right, so we made it to the number 1 spot. Jason, let's finish it off.
Can you guess what it is? I hinted at it a little bit. Don't say it. Just say, if you can guess it, just say you know it.
Do you know, Andres?
I'm trying to think of what else he's mentioned today. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Is it
was it Zadra or did you?
It is Zadra.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it at Energylandia?
Yeah,
I was gonna say either Hyperion or Zadra.
Yeah, my number one top bucket list coaster is Zadra at Energylandia. This looks like probably the best coaster in Europe if it's not Ride to Happiness.
Yeah, I mean,
just intense, and it has like that one crazy like twisted airtime hill where it like yeets you over it.
Yeah.
It also has stupidly good pacing. It flies through its lap, hauls the mail, comes in the brakes really freaking fast, like Air Force One fast.
You got to go down to ride Air Force One, Andres. It is as good as everyone says it is.
Oh, it's in the works. I just need to pick dates, basically.
It's so weird the park it's at, but I love it.
Oh yeah, it's like not even an amusement park. It's like an entertainment center or whatever you call that.
I'd even put I'd even put it a notch below an entertainment center. It literally feels like a carnival, and it's just there.
Yeah, they just happen.
I thought they mostly did like go-karts and stuff over there.
They do. They just happen to have one of the world's best coasters now.
But like their kiddie coaster is literally propped up on like
wooden
like cinder blocks and stuff
on like wooden stilts. Yeah. So funny.
Also
amazing.
Hurricane there is fantastic. But anyway, yeah, Zadra, if it's anything like Iron Gwazi or Steel Vengeance, it'll be fantastic. It'd probably be better than Iron Gwazi and Steel Vengeance, honestly.
Absolutely.
I guess it depends on what you're looking for. Actually, can I skip you just because we have the same number one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my number one is also Zadra. And I want to say, like, it feels like if you're looking for airtime, that's the coaster. The inversions are really cool though. There's like the stalls just look ridiculous. Like they drag them out just like this little bit extra longer than you'd really think.
Yeah. World's longest 0G stall.
And it's, from what I could tell from the POV, it sounds like quiet and smooth right now. And it's like almost crazy how it's going. Like you don't realize it's going 75 miles an hour in those videos.
Yeah.
Like I think it looks like the best RMC. I have it on my list one spot above Iron Gwazi. I'd Gwazi at 6 and Zadra at 5. And yeah, I think it looks like the best RMC. Like
absolutely.
Yeah. I don't think anything comes close. Not my number one though. My number one is Expedition G-Force at Holiday Park in Germany.
Oh, I didn't even think that was gonna be on your list anymore.
Wow.
Really? Nah, dude. Expedition G-Force, man. It has the T-bars like Millennium Force, which are probably up there for my favorite restraints on any coaster, except this looks to have stronger airtime and much better pacing than Millennium Force. That's not to say Millennium Force's pacing is bad, but it lacks in some areas when we're talking about airtime. Where this one just looks to be full-on ejector throughout the entire ride, and that first drop just looks awesome. There's not many other Intamin coasters that are like this one, and it's an old school Intamin coaster. That's not to say that I don't like what they're doing now. I clearly do with like Velocicoaster and like Tutatis and Batman are on my list as well. But there was just something about these old school Intamins. I mean, think about my number one. It's Maverick. So
yeah, it definitely shares some DNA with that, doesn't it?
For sure. Yeah. They have a feel to them that you don't feel on these newer Intamin coasters as much. These newer Intamin coasters feel different when you're riding them compared to like Maverick, Fahrenheit, Storm Runner, rides like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And real quick, I'm just going to throw out a few here that none of us mentioned, but still look like great rides. And that includes rides like Helix at Liseberg, Colossus at Heidi Park, Twisted Colossus at Six Flags Magic Mountain, Flying Dinosaur at Universal Studios Japan.
Ooh, I forgot about that one. How embarrassing.
Super Grover's Boxcar Derby at Sesame Place San Diego.
Leviathan at Canada's Wonderland, just to name some.
Yeah. All right, guys, are we ready to wrap it up then?
Yeah, I'll close us out.
You close this out? All right.
Yeah, so thank you all so much for watching. Comment down below what your top bucket list roller coasters are. We'd love to hear what y'all's coasters are that you want to ride in the future. And also comment down below what you thought of our lists. So thank you all so much for watching. And this is Coasters and Things.
Beyond the thrills.
Thrills and magic.
Signing out. See you guys later.